servants of Allah. Children are a blessing from Allah the Almighty upon His servants. He bestows them upon whomever He wills of His servants. As Allah the Exalted says, which means He gives to whom He wills females, and He gives to whom He wills males, or He pairs them both males and females, and He renders whom He wills barren. Indeed, He is all-knowing, the most capable. The completion of these blessings, meaning having children, is through the righteousness. For the righteousness of children is a good that Allah the Almighty bestows upon the father and the mother. This good that extends throughout their lifetime and even after their death. When a man dies, his deeds come to an end, except out of 3. And He mentioned among them, and a righteous son who supplicates for him. And a righteous child could be a male or a female. And the man ascends to high ranks in Jannah. And he says, how is this for me, my Lord? From where did I get that rank? And Allah the Exalted says, by your son seeking forgiveness for you. And the righteousness of children, servants of Allah, include the righteousness in their religion. And they also include the righteousness in their worldly life. And include the righteousness in their bodies. And this righteousness can only be achieved through causes that Allah has set, which the man must take and strive for, and do as much as he can to do so. Then comes the role of the woman. And Allah the Almighty says in His noble book, O you who believe, protect yourselves and your families from a fire, whose fuel is people and stones. And the Prophet ﷺ said, every one of you is a guardian, and every one of you is responsible for his words. A ruler is a guardian and is responsible for his subjects. A man is a guardian of his family and responsible for them. And a wife is a guardian over her husband, his house, and child, and she is responsible for them. And know, parents, that the guidance of children is in the hands of Allah alone. And that all we have to do is to strive by doing or following the legitimate causes that Allah has set. Parents must know that suffering of raising children is a kind of jihad and obedience. An effort and suffering they encounter in it would not be wasted with Allah Almighty. This is why some of the righteous predecessors said, there are sins that are not expiated except by the worries over your children. If a person knows this, the matter becomes easy for him. He will know that he's in an act of worship for which he will be rewarded, as long as he or she are striving to raise their children in the way of Allah the Exalted, just as he or she rewarded for all other acts of worship. The most important of these reasons, in order to preserve your child and for him to be raised righteous by the will of Allah, is the man's improvement in himself. Improve yourself, meaning towards righteousness, servant of Allah. Your righteousness has a great impact on the righteousness of their children. And this is usually the case. If the father is righteous, the children will be righteous. Otherwise, a man may be righteous, but his children will not be righteous. Some of the children of the prophets are not on the path of their fathers. And some of the children of the scholars are also not on the path of their fathers. For Allah says, He brings the living out of the dead and brings the dead out of the living. But mostly, if the parent is righteous, the children will be righteous. So reform yourself, servant of Allah. Worship Allah the Almighty. Fear Allah by doing what He has commanded you and leaving what He has forbidden. Observe the commands of Allah in secret and in public. Fulfill the rights of Allah. Fulfill the rights of His servants, for by this you will be righteous. And Allah the Almighty says, mentioning the story of the 2 boys in Surah Al-Kahf, and their father was righteous. Allah the Exalted set for them the best man during his time, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, and Al-Khidr with him, to preserve their wealth, so that when they reach puberty, they're able to extract out the wealth that their father have kept for them. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, and his father said, these 2 boys were preserved because of the righteousness of their father. And Allah did not mention anything about these 2 boys except this. And their father was righteous. Al-Hafidh ibn Kathir, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, in this clear evidence that the righteousness of the father is a reason for the preservation of his children and offspring, even after his death.